Hey everybody, it's your girl Sherry. Welcome back to Alleged Actually podcast. Tonight we're doing a quick snip, Sherry's quick snips. We're going to snip up those long recaps and chop it down to some bite-sized thoughts and reflections on last night's episode of Real Housewives of New York, season 15, episode 17, reunion part 2. And y'all, the final part of the reunion. Y'all, that's different because nowadays most housewives get 3-parters. So the fact, y'all, that they wrapped up this season in 2 parts was definitely very telling. Nothing that we're shocked about by any means. So I didn't expect anything less. I was pretty sure we were going to wrap it up in 2 parts. But y'all, before I get into my quick snip on Real Housewives of New York, first of all, welcome. If you're new to the channel, thanks for tuning in. Over here, we do reality TV show recaps, we do pop culture segments, deep dive discussions on entertainment, news, just anything in the culture, honey, that, you want to hear that good tea on, we got it over here. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and share with the masses. Give us the thumbs up if you'll go ahead and like this live. And if you're over here for the replay, go ahead and like the video. We appreciate your support and your feedback. We're trying to get to our next goal of 6K subscribers. And listen, y'all, we're close. And I know with your help, we're going to get there. So I'm not even worried about that. So again, thanks for tuning in. We are Alleged Actually. And tonight I am doing a Sherry quick snip. So, how many of you, like myself, that watched last night, kind of got the feeling that Brynn got off a little too easy? So much so, y'all, that last night I decided to do a poll question, which periodically after a show, I'll put something in our community post and kind of find out, what my actualizers are feeling. So I asked the question, it was a 2-part poll, whether we thought Brynn got off too easy or Brynn was sincerely sorry. I had quite a few votes and 87% agreed that Brynn got off way too easy. 13% of y'all thought that she was sincerely sorry. All right, a few things. First thing I'm going to say, Rebecca mean call. No, ma'am. Goodbye. Okay? She makes it to the couch. We all know she was a friend of the season and brought on by Aaron Leachy. Y'all, we find out in the footage. I don't know if y'all watched the unedited version on Peacock. I caught some of that today, and of course, I watched last night as it aired. But, honey, there was some unseen footage where Miss Becky Minkoff admitted that she got on the show because her sales were down 70% for her handbags. So she basically came on the show, y'all, to hope to get some more, notoriety and some more, people talking and buzz that would hopefully then in turn increase her sales. Not a good idea, ma'am. And I know when she first came on, everybody was so excited because they thought, Rebecca Minkoff is very tied to Scientology. And, we thought she was going to be giving some, I know that's not something that you can get a whole lot out of those that follow Scientology. But, that was her thing. That was part of her scandal. And we expected her to talk about it. We come to find out that she didn't give that, because she'd pretty much given a clear warning to the ladies that she wasn't going to talk about it on camera. The one housewife that did kind of get a chance to ask her about, how she could be both Jewish and be a part of Scientology because Aaron was confused. Apparently, Becky sent her a nasty text, very unhappy with the fact that she would bring that up. And more specifically, Becky or Rebecca stated that she did not like Aaron's tone. And you know what, y'all? I don't understand because a lot of people don't like Aaron. I like Aaron. I know she's got that dry sense of humor, a little snarky, but I'm here for it. I enjoy Aaron. I thought, she held her own last night. I mean, and as she always has. A lot of people don't like her. I do. But we basically get past the whole Scientology, why she wasn't really sharing the beef between her and Aaron, which was really kind of silly, more so that she kind of went at her and that she supposedly was Aaron's friend and was not supportive on the scenes with her father. We know that Aaron's dad did end up passing away of cancer. So, definitely sorry to hear that. But she stated that, Rebecca wasn't very supportive. And then Rebecca really just didn't have anything with the other girls. You could see the scene when Brynn was trying to produce her. And that came out in an article that Erin had spoke about the situation in, where she said she felt like Brynn was trying to produce them. I think that was a lot of Uba's frustration. And y'all, Uba got a really bad rap this season. I mean, look, there's a lot of folks out there that don't like Uba. Of course, now we have a lot of folks that can't stand Brynn. I get it. Uba certainly flies off the handle and can be very, very nasty. They talked to Uba about the situation in Puerto Rico. Let me say again, y'all, Raquel, love her. I think she was an amazing addition to Real Housewives of New York. I know that they're in the midst of a cast shakeup. They put out a casting call for New York. So y'all, that's never good. Doesn't mean they were going to get a whole new cast, but what I do think is they're looking for some new housewives. I don't think Brynn has a future, but we'll get to that. And there may be some more shakeups. I'm pretty sure Becky is one and done too. So bye, Miss Minkoff. The only other thing we talked about, the silly little storyline about Jenna and her pubic hair. That was dumb. I will give Jenna this, that I did like between first part and second part how Jenna was holding Brynn accountable. Generally, we see Jenna baby Brynn, which there was still some elements of that, but she really held her accountable. And I loved how collectively they kept checking her. So we'll get to Uba in Puerto Rico. She did come off as ungrateful. Raquel's trip, it was her trip. That is where she grew up. Both Raquel and Sai are Puerto Rican. We saw the scene where Uba was really disgusted by the beach that she, grew up being on. That was part of her childhood memories. The fact that she was upset about the room because the bed was kind of small. And, listen, it's hard to defend that. So I'm not going to try. Andy brought up the fact that the women collectively didn't like to confront her about things that she's done or said because how she reacts. Uba didn't seem very apologetic. She did apologize to Raquel about ruining her childhood memories, though a lot of people say it came off as condescending. My honest opinion, y'all, yeah, Uba can be nasty, but also Uba can be caring, because we also saw that part of her with Brynn. And to me, if you ever doubted that she cared for her at all, God knows you had to have seen it last night, because we would have all thought that Uba would wash her hands forever of Brynn. And that's essentially what she said in an article that she spoke about the situation. But we saw something a little different last night. It's basically with the Puerto Rican thing, Raquel, the Puerto Rico trip, the fact that Sai and Raquel let her know that it was offensive to them both, that they did not like the way she's depicting Puerto Rico. She tried to say, no, that's not what she meant. She loved Puerto Rico, whatever. But because of, some of the things that have been said in the media, the climate right now, no one wants to see Puerto Rico disparaged or talked about as if it's not clean or the dirty beaches and all that, which is not true. I love Puerto Rico. It is absolutely beautiful. Love to vacation there. Great place to go. I don't know, Uba. I love you, girl. I think you're stunning, but I do think you need to work on that, flying off the handle, that not listening or letting people speak. I've had some of my folks, comment and say that a lot of Uba's issue is, the fact that it's based off of language barriers. Y'all, I can't give you that either. I can't. Some of the stuff between her and Brynn, yes, I'm going to give you that. Because one thing about Brynn, she knows Uba. They were close, and she knows how to push Uba's buttons. She knows how to frustrate her, and she knows how Uba reacts when she's frustrated. So we find out that Brynn was doing a lot of pushing of Uba, trying to get her to play, come to work, the whole clock in situation, so that in her mind, or so she tried to say, she wanted Uba to get her shine this season. Y'all, all that sounded really manipulating to me, and I've heard other content creators, other recaps and things that says, that New York was given colorist. Let me say, first off, they did get into the statement that Brynn made to Uba when she was saying that she was trying to keep her from being portrayed as the angry Black woman because she really wanted Oliver and her to work out. That was very manipulating, very calculated statement. Andy brought up the fact, she was like, no, it's because I always want the best for her, and I didn't want her to let me and my stupid self, make her act this way and make it. Nah, girl. And Andy called her out on the fact that you knew that Uba was, a little insecure about her relationship. So for you to even mention him, y'all, that was low. Look, Brynn knew what she was doing. And again, I said this before. I met Brynn at BravoCon. She was lovely. She, funny to say though, she did tell a story about her grandmother and her aunt. Now I'm like questioning it wasn't even real, but she was very, very friendly, very approachable, sweet girl, but she has some problems, y'all. And her problems, I don't think, lend to her being able to handle being on a reality show. And how can she at this point anyway, because we're not going to believe anything she says. Child, getting back to what happened, basically, Brynn tries to apologize. She explains that though she's biracial, she identifies as a Black woman. However, she understands that her experience would be different from Uba. Did y'all clock how Uba was not here for none of that, child? Uba's like, nah, I don't have no bad experience over here. Listen, I get everything for free, honey, because I'm hot, I'm Black. I mean, and Andy's like, well, do you get everything free because you're Black or because you're hot? Maybe a combination, baby. Probably, because she is stunning. I mean, she's a model, girl's beautiful, but it was. No, y'all got to weigh in and let me know. Did you think that she went there because that's truly not her experience? Like she was feeling like, nah, you're not about to get me on that one because I'm treated great. I don't feel the difference. But girl, you were actually a victim to it, because case in point, how immediately the women were inclined to be on Brynn's side. Did y'all catch Jenna when she was trying to explain to Brynn how horrible it was that she would accuse, Uba of knowing that she was SA'd and making those comments? And it was her weaponizing that, the fact that she would have known that information about her and then said those terrible things or made that statement about her performing fellatio to get a job on Bravo. And she said, because she was about to say we were on your side. And then she quickly pulled that back and said, we felt badly for you. Nah, girl, you had it right the first time. Y'all were on Brynn's side off the rip. I mean, it is sad that as a group of girlfriends and, Erin professing to be so close to Uba and, all of them now, really feeling for Uba, that everyone off top believe Brynn at face value, and we're not going to say anything to Uba to give a chance for Uba to give her side. So to me, that's telling. So no, I'm not one that screams colorism, because except for it on Potomac, because there certainly is colorism over there. But that would be my take on an example of where colorism may have raised its head. They were quick to go to Brynn and coddle Brynn, and to believe that Uba could be capable of that. Now, some of y'all might jump in and say, well, that's because of the way Uba overreacts sometimes. That's the way she, how she goes off and won't let things go. And, she can be nasty, but she can be those things. But they also know that Uba has a very caring heart and cares deeply for Brynn. And that was never more apparent than last night. So when we get past Puerto Rico and we get into the incident of the night, you see Brynn, go into this little girl mode, where she was fake crying, child. Did y'all clock that there was no tears? None. Okay? No tears. Listen, I have a little still. I snapped, and y'all can check it out for yourself. I mean, this is about the time when she'd had her beating from the girls, and Uba feels sorry and kind of comes over and, consoles her. But y'all, what I found disturbing, so where then I saw her mental health issue, in my opinion, rear its head when she said that, when she could tell that the girls were kind of like, look, girl, you were lying. And she said, well, it's not like, when I came back and I tried to talk to you all, and, you guys were just like, after I told you about SA, y'all didn't come and hug me. You were like, okay, so who was the guy? How rich was he? Y'all, they said they did not say nothing of the sort. So that's the prime example of how Brynn will take a situation and spin it. So when she felt like, hey, I'm losing this argument again and y'all are ganging up, let me throw this spice on it now and say that when I had told y'all that I was SA'd and that Uba knew it, instead of y'all coming to me and hugging me, y'all asked me who the guy was, how rich he was, and girl, didn't happen. And Jenna was like, oh, no. We were all there for you. All of us were there for you. And none of them, they all united front said they believed her story about being SA. It was the fact that when they questioned her, did Uba know? And she backpedaled and said, come to think of it, maybe she didn't clock it. Now, Brynn explains that was the time that because Andy asked, do you remember when you told Uba? And she said it was the week before BravoCon. She had called Uba really hysterical. A family member of hers had purchased a gun, and she was not sure whether her family member had unalived themselves. And she was very upset, went into a rant about all the horrible things that's happened to her. She said she went through 18 chapters of the worst times of her life. Her horrible childhood, the fact that she was beat up in college and, SA'd and, a lot of things that came out. That's what she said. And, Uba was crying and saying, first of all, it wasn't a phone call. It was a FaceTime. So now with that information, y'all, you have to realize if somebody, and she admits that Brynn was, just a ball of mess, really upset, shell of herself. But when you're FaceTiming someone, that's different from being on a phone call and maybe somebody rambling. If you're FaceTiming and you're looking at someone and they're visibly upset, and in that conversation they say, and oh, by the way, I got SA'd or graped, you would remember that. Particularly when the fact that, she admitted if I'd have known, if I knew who he was, he'd have to watch out, for me to unalive him. And those were Uba's words. She was like, I'm not with that. I protect you. I love you. That was genuine. So you see, and that's when the women were like, okay, so now I don't believe you. Then did y'all notice that when she was frustrated because they were on Uba's side and she was like, okay, so instead of crying, she pulls herself out of her little crying thing into the anger mode of like, okay, so because I don't scream and run and go vomit, I'm held to a different standard, and y'all are on me for every effing word I say. And see, that was that raw emotion. She was mad because the women felt bad for Uba instead of all rallying around her. Because two things can be true, ma'am. They can feel horrible for your experience and still be mortified that experience, that you would use that horrible thing that happened to you and use it to make your friend look bad. To make them, the world believe that she knew it and still would throw accusations at you for performing sex, acts to get on Bravo. Okay. And that was the issue. And bigger than that, y'all, it was the fact that Brynn just did not seem to realize that you can't say whatever you want to get the reaction you want. and not be held accountable for the calamity that happens in the process. Again, y'all, I mean, I had some wonderful comments. Y'all, thanks for engaging on the other videos I did on this subject. And again, one of the actualizers put out the term histrionic personality disorder. I'm not trying to diagnose anyone. Y'all Google it though and think back. I don't know. As it went on, it seemed like it was a pretty much a gang obsession on Brynn to a degree, because the women were rightfully so extremely frustrated that no matter, they kept saying, Brynn, that's not what happened. And try as she might, I was so thankful that they were a united front with that. I also understood, and this is where, we talk about Brynn getting off easy. Even though Uba said that she forgave her, that she wanted nothing else to do with her, that she wanted to go back to the time when she didn't even know who Brynn was. And yet her compassion came forward, and she went over, like I showed you in my still, she went over to console Brynn and to give her a hug and, to tell her that she loved her. And she kept telling her that she needed to apologize to the other girls. And, she was like, because she was saying they love you, and she kept saying, no, they don't. It's like reverting back to a child. They don't love me. No, they don't. No, I don't want to say sorry, because she was mad, because she even said at one point, if y'all caught, when she said, I wish y'all would stop the lecturing. And really what they wanted was for Brynn to understand the severity of what her words could have done to Uba and could have done to someone, and that's the problem. That affects relationships and friendships. And so now let's talk about, y'all, what is the future now of RHONY? I told y'all they're currently having active casting call out. So they're looking for more housewives. Y'all, slide in the comments. I just need to know, do y'all think they're going to bring Brynn back? I said absolutely not. I just don't see how they could. I mean, granted, the ladies came after they wrapped up and the ladies were back in their dressing rooms. They all agreed they felt for her. And I remember it was Aaron that said, look, y'all, she really believes what she's saying. And see, that's the problem. It's one thing to be an embellisher or a liar, but it's another thing to just make up things and to like spin it up, and then to the point that you believe, you lie so much you believe what you're saying. That's a problem. And on a show like this, where we tune in every week and we give an hour of our time dedicated to the show, dedicated to these women that do bear their lives, and you have a housewife that you legit don't believe anything she says, y'all. It's the same problem that they're going to have with Mia Thornton. I don't see it for her either. So at the end, Uba and her hugged it out. And then you see Raquel go into her dressing room and also hug her. Y'all, but even in that tender moment where Raquel, because I think she's a beautiful person, I do. And I believe she'll be back. That she was consoling Brynn, and Brynn goes into producer mode again, and she says, you've been crying a lot. It's like you get it, like you really get it. And she was like, yeah, I really get it. Insinuating that her level of emotion was because she too had an experience. Now, she didn't say that, but that's what was alluded to. I felt like that was Brynn also trying to produce and get another moment. Y'all, that was that. I mean, I don't know what the future of RHONY is going to be. I know they're coming back. I just don't know how they're coming. You know what I mean? I know they're looking for some new housewives. Rebecca Minkoff is out. Jenna Lyons, people love Jenna effing Lyons. She showed up for the reunion, holding Brynn accountable more, using her voice more. I'm not sure, y'all, though, because she wasn't very forthcoming on her private life. So that always puts you on the chopping block. Andy doesn't like that. We don't need her to just be a prop. We need her to let us into her life. That's what they sign up for. So my prediction is they keep Sai. They keep Aaron. They bring Raquel back. Jenna becomes a friend of, and we get a couple of new housewives. That's my opinion. Y'all slide in my comments and let me know what you think may happen next season. And let me know what y'all thought about last night's episode, part 2, the last part of season 15 of Real Housewives of New York. It was a wrap. Y'all, did y'all think Brynn got off too easy? I do. I mean, they gave it to her, but I think Andy should have asked a lot more questions. And I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. But as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Join me again tomorrow night. It'll be me and my Bravo bestie, Joey. We'll be doing the Bravo bestie breakdown, talking about part 3 of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion. The last part, y'all. We're going to bring it home tomorrow and finish out what was an amazing season on Salt Lake City. Also, y'all come back on Friday. I have something extra special. So for all my actualizers out there and those that are viewers that ever thought about getting into vlogging or podcasting or content creating, I have a panel discussion with some amazing podcasters that I met at PodFest 2025 Expo in Orlando last month. They're great at what they do. We do a roundtable discussion on, the importance of going to these conferences, what we've learned, and we're going to give y'all some tips and advice on getting started. So you won't want to miss that. So come on back Friday for that. But first, join us tomorrow night for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion, part 3 recap. And then come on back Friday for the podcasters panel discussion. You won't want to miss it, guys. And we have a deep dive also coming this weekend with me and Bria on Love is Blind. So there's so much. So if you haven't, y'all, please subscribe and comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we drop this good content. All right, guys. As always, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.